Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon, everybody. I am Mubeen Ashraf and I welcome you all to the panel discussion on gender and cyber violence as part of Women in Cybersecurity Beyond Borders 2021. We have a tremendous panel with us and I really appreciate you all being here. So without further ado, let's begin the discussion. The goal of the next hour is to examine how violence in cyberspace is affecting different people around the globe and specifically Pakistan and Malaysia, because we have one speaker from Malaysia specifically and all other speakers from Pakistan. Moreover, keeping in mind the severity of the issue, how effectively different policies and legislations are benefiting to reduce or curb the catastrophic impacts in both the countries, we'll take expert advice from the worthy speakers. As I mentioned before, we have a great and distinguished panel of cybersecurity leaders who are not just experts in their field, but they are all my respected mentors, and I have grown up learning from them. And I hope the same level of energy and enthusiasm and learning in the next 50 to 55 minutes of the talk. Now I request my worthy panelists to introduce themselves briefly so that we may formally begin, starting from Dr. Ammar Jaffri.
Assalamu alaikum and very good afternoon from Pakistan. My name is Ammar Jaffri. I'm the founding head of NR3C, which is cyber wing of Government of Pakistan. And after my retirement from my job as Additional Director General FIA, currently I'm leading two initiatives in cyberspace. One is PISA, Pakistan Information Security Association, which is a 15 years old organization. It's a not-for-profit. And second is CSAP, Cybersecurity Alliance of Pakistan, which includes all government and private sector organizations. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Now I hand over the mic to Dr. Rabiah.
Hi, Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Good afternoon. Good afternoon from Malaysia. First of all, thank you very much for inviting me. I'm Rabiah Ahmed. I'm currently working as a Professor of Information Security and Privacy at Universiti Teknikal Malaysia, Melaka. Melaka is one of the historical city in Malaysia. So what I'm doing now is I'm a Dean of Faculty IT. I have 12 years experience in research on cyber terrorism, information security, and also cyber violence extremisms. That's also one of my research experience, and I have published a few papers on that. I think, inshallah, we'll share a great knowledge and experience on this session. Thank you. Back to you, Mubeen.
Thank you. Now I want Ms. Sana Zara to introduce herself, please.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. I'm Sana Ahmed. I am the Associate Vice President of Titanium, which is Pakistan's first managed security service provider, launched by this nation's first cloud service provider, Rapid Compute and ISP Cybernet. I help clients and companies adopt globally leading cybersecurity solutions that are fully managed by our locally certified teams on the ground. And we're the only entity which is PCI DSS and ISO 27001 certified and GDPR compliant. So it's basically a culture of security that we provide to our clients.
Thank you so much. Over to you, Saron.
Thank you so much, Mubeen. Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon, audience. My name is Aun Abbas. I have an accomplished career of around 21 years, and during the years, I have developed software programs. I have deployed secure networks, and I have been a cyber cop and a digital forensic expert at FIA, the cybercrime agency in Pakistan, cybercrime investigation agency. And currently, I am performing the role of a CISO, Chief Information Security Officer, at a bank in Pakistan. So my accomplishments include, because I am the author of Cybercrime Law of Pakistan, and I helped Ammar Jaffri in establishing digital forensic laboratories in Pakistan, the first thing in the region. And I have deployed mission critical networks, and I've programmed neural networks on system levels. So raising an excellent information security team and a department at a bank is my very latest achievement. And I also provide voluntary participation and trainings to the new people in the profession and to the people who require guidance. Thank you so much, Mubeen.
Thank you. Over to you, Dr. Rabiah Rubab, sorry.
Hello, this is Dr. Rubab from National University of Sciences and Technology. I am though an early researcher in cybersecurity, but due to my efforts and some collaborations, I have recently secured an Erasmus Plus funding, which is mainly on the capacity building for the cybersecurity, and we are aiming to provide unified content for the cybersecurity throughout the country. Apart from that, I am doing the research in cybersecurity and machine learning and predictive systems. I have around 13 to 15 research students with me in a team, and we have published around 6 to 8 papers in 2021 in the start. And we are planning to have this research being conducted in a very healthy way for the next year. And let's see what are the results for our project and how we can contribute towards the science of body.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rubab. Since the introduction of internet, the presence of online gender-based violence has grown exponentially. And we know that online gender-based violence can target anyone. It proportionality, like there is a disproportionality that targets the identity of female, and this gender-based violence is found in many forms and is defined differently by different authors and different scholars. Now, I want my dear panelists to shed light on what they think cyber violence is and what are the different causes of cyber violence in modern age. Over to you, starting from Sir Aun, please.
Mubeen. The Council of Europe defines cyber violence as the use of computer systems to cause or facilitate or threaten violence against individuals that results in, or it is likely to result in physical, sexual, psychological, or economic harm or suffering to anyone. It may include exploitation to the individual's circumstances and or characteristics or vulnerabilities of a person. So the types of cyber harassment or cyber violence include cyber harassment, violation of privacy, online sexual exploitation or abuse of the children, hate-related crimes, direct threats or actual violence, or the cyber crimes. So violence is almost the same, which was done earlier by the people in the normal life, but the method has changed now, mainly because of the increased availability of the internet and social media, with convenience in retrieving online information about the victim. So the offenders now prefer the technology because they act with without physical presence and are able to conceal their identity. The second is they lack empathy for the victim and think that the victim deserves it. And then they retrieving the information against the offender is a challenge for the law enforcement as well as for the victim himself or herself. So the victims mostly don't know where to report such crimes and whom to and how to explain the issue to someone. So the victim generally they tend to ignore the such kind of activities, and often they are too much terrified to report or to share the information this kind of an act with someone. So this is my view. Back to Mubeen, please.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Sir Ammar, please, if you may shed some light on the very subject.
Thank you much. You know, the criminals are there for the last so many centuries. If you go back to history, even in 1860, the British rulers have to implement a law here. That was anti-thuggy law. So the criminals are there since 1860 in this area. Now they have started using cyberspace for this. Coming back to the topic, the word gender includes male, female, both. Second is the violence is there. We cannot link it. We cannot link it with any particular sex because there have been a lot of instances in the cyberspace in which the very minor kids have been abused. Rather, they were killed also. So what I'm trying to say is that cyber violence is there, and the new innovations are helping the criminals to use it for their purposes. Now, why they target the weak entities like women or kids or all these things? Because they are more vulnerable. The problem here is that the reporting system is so complicated that if somebody goes to the police station, because the first responder is police, it's my very humble effort through my channels that we should build the capacity of the police to react very promptly as a first responder. Section 21 of PICA supports the gender violence. So now there's a need for creating the awareness, and a lot of organizations are doing it. To my understanding, controlling cyber crimes in any gender is not the job of only government of Pakistan. There's a job of every civil society, every university, every grassroots organization, because now everyone is using internet in one way or the other for commercial purposes, for this COVID-19 has triggered a button which we may not have received maybe in next 10 to 20 years. Now, this transformation has given us certain facilities. At the same time, the vulnerability has exceeded to a great level. Now, it's a call for all organizations, and I'm very happy that this session is on a particular topic, that is the gender-based discrimination. So I will finish with my quick comments that gender violence is there. To my understanding, it is not linked with male or female, it is there. They are targeting the retired people, they are targeting the kids, they are targeting the women. And the problem is that humans normally get trapped into certain, what you call wishes, or certain money or something like this. So they know how to do it. Any scheme with the government promote, they start calling the women that this is the Benazir income support program, this is the loan program, this is that program. So they are trapped. But the dangerous situation is now that the women violence is increasing. And I will say that Section 21 of PICA, people should approach it. It is a responsibility of FIA to promote it through different civil society organizations. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Over to you, Ms. Sana.
Thank you, Mubeen. So, when we talk about cyber violence, they're obviously they're prevalent in both at personal level as well as at corporate level. But in my opinion, cyber violence is the use of data available in the digital space for any purpose that might not be intended by the owner of the data. And if I talk about a very relatable example, it's everyone, I think, using social media platforms these days. They have been accused of learning the behaviors of people using them to the extent where they can actually even, guess what their actions or responses are going to be to a specific piece of information if it's shown to them or something. And then that information is used to manipulate behaviors. I mean, we had the Cambridge Analytica case some years back, and this was exactly about that how they call themselves a behavior shaping entity. They've been involved in shaping elections that way. So all sorts of genders, I would believe they have been involved in these activities. Then if we talk about, obviously at a lower level, I would say financial gains are obvious reasons for being involved here. Women generally do not have a tendency to report or, create a havoc about things. So they are an easy target for such situations. And there are also people with very primitive mindsets. And they still believe in discrimination, be it against any specific gender or against a race or a religion. And then they use the online medium to target. And like Ammar Sahib said, the online medium has just made it very easy for such malicious people to target them. It has enhanced their audience, it has enhanced their reach. So we see more of these events in the online sector. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ms. Sana. Please, Dr. Rubab, if you would like to shed some light on this.
Okay, cyber violence, according to my knowledge, is it can be any kind of content that is shared by the preparator through any electronic medium, and it reaches through the target to any electronic device in use. So the content that includes in this is, it can be textual, it can be a video, it can be any media, and the devices can range from cell phones to computers and tablets. There are many forms of cyber violence. We cannot only say that this is only against the women and girls, but it also includes this cyber stalking for other genders as well. Hate speech, harassment, it can be video posting, which is unsolicited posts. There can be electronic facilitated trafficking because of these. The cyber violence is not a separate phenomena. It can be linked with the real world violence, and it often is same as per the patterns of our offline violence. If you talk about the causes of our cyber violence or cyber stalking, if specifically I say it, these can be some lack of oversight or accountability measures. They are needed in the digital horizon and digital media. It becomes it is becoming a symbol there, where it is a need for everyone in everyday lives of billions of people, especially in this pandemic. So we are living in a very different age compared to our previous generations. So we need some new rules, new regulations, so that cyber violence, which is a fact that it needs to be dealt and understood, that there are some innovative solutions. We need to think about that, and then we have to program ourselves. We have to regulate our societies according to that, so that we can accommodate our different norms and values. There is a reach of there is an increased reach of internet. There is a rapid use of mobile information, widespread of social media. There are a couple of other mediums through which we are trying to communicate our people, especially the students in this COVID-19 situation. So this requires actually some kind of rules, some kind of regulations from the government, so that we can stop this violence and stalking, especially against the women and girls.
Thank you, Dr. Rubab. I request Dr. Rabiah, if you could kindly shed some light. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Well, because of I'm educator, so I try to give just a short definitions based from our research in 2016 on cyber violence. So we start with violent extremisms. Violent extremisms means a group of extremists aim to cause as much as damage possible when they intend to create harm to the target. Right. So when we talk about cyber violence, the extremists often use dark webs to separate their materials, recruit members, exchange ideology, and even plan an attack. So this is the research evolutions on cyber violence. Well, perhaps has started in the early 2012 because of its started or initiated from cyber terrorisms. Even it can start with cyber attack, cyber crime, cyber terrorisms, and then the recent one is cyber violence. Even we can have cyber violence extremism. Okay, what is interesting? What is interesting? The evolutions of the research confirm that there is 6 components. People, the target, and then the target, the intention, the intentions, and then the tools that they use. So these components, 5 to 6 components, contributed to what is actually definitions of cyber violence extremism. One good things, when in terms of to make sure that the victims and also the attackers, the one who conducted the activities, we have to really clearly define what does it mean by cyber violence. So then when it become a cases, a police cases or what's not, it clear, because of we have to make sure that attackers are using cyberspace, cyberspace. So either dark web, information theft, or whatever. So we have to make sure that it goes through cyber. It's go through cyber so that it's clear that is cyber violence. Okay, in terms of whether it is for women, or I think it's regardless any gender. It's got regardless any gender. But usually from my readings, from my knowledge, the victims, the victims is amongst females or kids, kids, yeah, regardless boy or girl, but it's always become a victims due to maybe it's a personal, or maybe it's directed by a groups or special group. Okay, so I stop first and I pass to you back to Mubeen. Right.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for shedding light on the definition and causes of cyber violence. Now moving further, millions of women and girls around the world are subjected to deliberate violence because of their gender, as violence does not care about any and knows no boundaries, race, culture, or society. So the growing reach to the internet, the rapid adoption of information and communication technologies, and wide uses of social media have on one way presented new opportunities, but at the same time have become a source of inflicting harm on women and girls in various ways. Keeping this in mind, my next question to you is, cyber violence against women and girls has become a growing global problem with significant economic, political, and societal consequences. How you look into the matter, please elaborate. And I'd like to start from Sir Aun Abbas to first shed light on this, please.
Thank you so much, Mubeen. I have actually in my study, I've known that European Union has conducted some researches on cyber violence, and the finding is that 1 in 10 women has already faced cyber violence since the age of their 15 years. So in Pakistan, we have the cybercrime law. We call it the Prevention of Electronic Crime Act of 2016. And in this law, we have specifically 3 sections dealing with the cyber violence, and that which deal with dignity of a natural person, modesty of a natural person or a minor, and child pornography. So these under these sections, the cases are issues are reported to the cybercrime unit of the Federal Investigation Agency, and as per my information, the most of the cases reported to the cybercrime unit of FIA pertain to the cyber violence, and specifically against the women. And we have also noticed that it is not all that men are conducting violence against the women, but it is also women conducting violence against the women, and in some cases, women have conducted violence against the men. So, as Mr. Ammar Jaffri said, that it is not just the thing that victims are female or male. It is cyber violence, and we have to address it. So, to utilize the internet for economic development, and it is utmost necessary that the cyber digital public space should be safe for working, and we should highlight the importance of, and we should respect the privacy, online privacy of others. So for that, we have to, we need to know what is privacy, what is online privacy, and what all information needs to be shared, and what information should be restricted. And this is again the hate speech, where we have to differentiate between the hate speech and the publicity, or hate speech and conveying our opinion to someone. And you know that in the cyber domain, we have to have collaboration between the countries to investigate the issues and to retrieve information. And without that, it will become very hard for the law enforcement even to investigate the cases and bring the criminals to the task. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Please, Dr. Saddaf, if you would like to comment on how this cyber violence against women has a negative impact on economic, political, and societal well-being of the gender. Please.
Thank you, Mubeen. Violence in general, I would say it is not against women and girls, as it is said by Sir Aun as well. It is a universal fact, and instead of decreasing over time, it has actually increased in one form or the other. There are different societies and cultures, and when it comes to the cyber violence, the tactics, the reasons, or the consequences of the act, they may vary based on the society, but underlying the encouraging factor for the preparators is the same: lack of fear of accountability. So the digital world is a difficult medium to regulate, and technology drivers have given much less preference to the personal security and safety in their products and platforms. That led to the growth of violation, and violators are the preparators who especially target the women and girls on digital platforms. Uh, with the increasing reach of internet, the rapid spread of mobile information and social media, coupled with the existing pandemic violence against women and girls, it has led to the emergence of cyber violence as a global problem in this COVID-19 situation, significantly causing some effect on the economic and societal factors, whereas as highlighted by Saron already, there are the research conducted by Europe is saying that 1 in 10 women have already experienced the cyber violence in a lifetime. And despite that, there is a relatively new and growing phenomena of internet connectivity. And it is estimated that every woman probably have experienced it before the age of their 15. So access to internet is fast and becoming a necessity of the economic well-being, and it is increasingly viewed as a fundamental human right to have the access to these social mediums. Therefore, it is crucial to ensure that the digital public space is safe and empowering place for both the genders, for everyone, including women and girls, in order to better understand the nature and prevalence of cyber violence against the women. European Institute for Gender Equality has conducted different desk research as they are aiming to identify and analyze the existing research from different mediums, and they are conducting different surveys. In that respect, I would say that we as from the Asia or Southeast Asia countries, we are lacking in this. Our government has to put some effort on this aspect as well, because the pandemic has hit around the world. So we need to regulate our universities. If you remember, in the early 2020, there were some incidents reported by the universities that how students are harassing the faculty members or making the memes out of their online video lectures. That has actually uh, stopped the use of online video recorded lectures, and faculty was very resilient on providing the recordings to the common people. So if we have some regulations, if we have some rules, so that it can not only benefit the students, but it can also facilitate your educators as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Saddaf. Over to you, Dr. Rabiah. Please, if you could shed some light on how cyber violence against women has become a global problem with significant economic, political, and societal consequences.
Oh, yes. Well, I do agree with both speakers, Dr. Rubab and also Mr. Aun. And okay, I just want to add with whatever that have been highlighted by both speakers, okay? Okay, reputations. Reputation is very important. And reputation, if you know, reputations going down, is affect economy, it's affect economy, it's affect politicals, and finally it's affect everything. Okay. So when we look into let just look at a simple examples on sending children to boarding school. And usually boarding school, they are using internet facilities for to teach the students. So can we imagine if we cannot afford to overcome issue on cyber violence? It creates more scenarios like more cases like cyberbullying. Cyberbullying because of cyber bullying, cyber attack, cyber terrorism, and then cyber violence. This is all essentially in. I can say that everything's in one pack. It's just that different type of mechanisms in initiating the activities, but it's also it's all essentially bad activities over the cyber. But just to add, just now I mentioned it's about the components. So the components is attackers, motivations, intention, method, tools, medium, target, and impact. Okay, then when we talk about impact, so it relates to the reputations, it relates to economy, it relates to political, but how far is that? So we need to look into cases by cases. So pass back to you, Mubeen. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now I'll move forward to what Mr. Ammar Jaffri has already explained, and Sir Aun Abbas has also shed light on it. And the next question is related to what both the speakers have already said about it, and that is, do you think that cyber violence is gender-based or gender discriminatory, or it is an exaggerated or overrated notion? Please, Ammar Jaffri, sir, if you can speak on it.
I would like to speak first on the previous question, that is linking the cyber violence with the economic activity. You know,
Sure, sir.
digital
Sure.
devices were already there, but now, to my understanding, with this new era of cyber violence against women, this divide will increase further. The new opportunities, especially after COVID, which we call the next normal, are giving absolutely new opportunity to women working at the grassroots. They can work from home. They can be trained as virtual assistants. But my worry is recently I tried something like teaching English to the women. And initially it was both for male and female both. Then the male started giving direct message to the women. I had a problem. So then I started something like teaching English to the women only. So this is a challenge now. I think the civil society should come forward. And whenever we try to build the capacity of the women in Pakistan for their economic empowerment, let me again stress on it that if woman is economically in power, she can do wonders. But if she is not economically in power, she'll be further divided into a number of issues. So the new opportunities are equal for male and female. The economic opportunities are coming to the extent that now you can virtually do anything you like from your home. So this suits our society, especially for the women who have to travel a lot from their homes to their offices. And due to COVID, naturally there are lockdown, things like this. So through this forum, I would like to stress to all participants sitting here that we should empower the women in three phases. One, improve their English so that they can talk to the foreigners and they can work at home as virtual assistants. Number two, build their capacities into understanding of technical things because the demand-driven new initiatives are totally technical-driven. Third, we have to educate them in the area of managing the clients also. So this new era of economic empowerment, working online from the homes, is definitely going to benefit us. And in the end, I will, in response to this question, this is not only one way. I have seen number of examples in which the women have exploited the men in different cases. So I think let's come out of the debate of cyber violence based on gender base. We can discuss it. Now we should focus on economic empowerment of women using cyberspace. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I'd love to hear your remarks on it, Dr. Saddaf, please, if you could continue.
Okay, as it is mentioned by Sir Ammar Jaffri that we should come out of the boundary of this gender, and it is actually easy to for us to highlight on the incidents which are based on gender. But as I mentioned, and Sir Ammar Jaffri has already mentioned, it is a difficult medium to assess with the certainty, especially if we do not have some regulatory measures and are not present, and there are digital platforms, either they do not possess the capability to count on the cyber violence incidents, which are reluctant to provide and share that information about their platforms. They were being used where they were being bullied. So however, it is also the people who populate the digital platforms, and if we see the violence against a specific gender in overall society, we can assume that the cyber security will not be much different. So we have to come out of the boundary and discrimination of this gender. We have to think about how cyber violence can be eliminated from our society, and we can make a healthy use of our technology, and so we can make better economics.
Thank you so much. Miss Sana, if you'd like to add something to it.
It's practically the same notion that you and I believe in, that it's not right to just highlight one sector. Anyone weak is a target of violence, be it physical violence or cyber violence, and yes, we need to highlight all of that. And the problem here we have, in Pakistan and even in other parts of the world, is that we really don't have a central system where we can, keep a tab or keep visibility of who's doing what kinds of crimes we have. We really primarily rely on the victim itself reporting. And so, the more we evolve that space where we can sort of control the element, have a watch over what's going on, and then point out the malicious activities in them, have the laws and the enforced through these controls, I think it's going to be better. But yet again, yeah, gender, not just specific gender, any race, any religion, anything is that. For instance, I mean, after 9/11, we saw a race against Muslims, right? So that was something very targeted in movies and in all sorts of platforms. We see in some parts of the West, we see, targets against colored, be it Asians, be it Africans. But thing is that in every society, there are good parts, there are bad parts. So what we need to do is provide justice to those being victimized.
True, very true. I totally agree. And my next question is also interlinked to the previous one. And I would like Dr. Rabiah to first share her remarks on the policies and legislations against like cyber violence in Malaysia and how effectively they are working to curb the menace. Please.
Okay. For Malaysia, because we have complete set of cyber law, and also the awareness programs to everyone. And even though when you write something bad to others on Facebook, for example, and if let's say someone launch a report, so the authorized party, the either Cybersecurity Malaysia or police, they can easily catch to that person. Even though, well, it doesn't mean that we don't have freedoms. We have freedoms, but with a control mechanism. And with, I think the government's efforts has put a lot of awareness programs on TV, and also at schools, at the university, in the organizations, and also over advertisements over the radio and media. So I think in terms of awareness in putting something not good over the internet, I think it's now getting very much improvement to the public. But it's just that because of cyberspace, we don't no borders on cyberspace. So sometimes we do not know either the persons actually in our country or outside. So that one is questionable. But so far in Malaysia, the rules and regulations, the law is actually taking place, and I think it's under control. So I stop now.
Thank you so much. And
Pass to
yes,
you
I
back,
totally.
yeah.
Yes, the anonymity in cyberspace remains there, and yes, attribution problem is always there. And I want Dr. Ammar Jaffri to please shed some light further how effectively the policies in Pakistan are working against cyber violence.
Thank you much. I think we must learn from Malaysia. I have the proud honor of working with Rabiah also and with Cybersecurity Malaysia. I have the proud honor of starting some initiative with Malaysia in 2005 in Langkawi, and I think Rabiah was there also. So I think they have brought in place a wonderful arrangement in which law enforcement, technology partners, civil society are working together. That's what we are lacking in Pakistan. Let me tell you very frankly. When I was heading NR3C in FIA, Paisa was made at that time. This is the history of Paisa. In 2005, in PC Lahore, it was started by that time Director General FIA. But unluckily, we couldn't make this blend of working together. Right now, universities are working differently, government is working differently, Ministry of IT is working differently, regulators is working differently, telecom operators is working differently. I think all of us sitting in this panel know my humble efforts into it. I'm still trying for it. Only a day before we did it in Manajaba, Swat. So what we are trying to do is, and there's a need for this in Pakistan. The laws are there. PICA is there. But who will take the cognizance? FIA and R3C cybercrime wing does not have this much of bandwidth to address this volume of data, this volume of cases. I won't go into detail because I think the time is not would not allow me. But the statistics shows that FIA is not handling all the cases being reported. So this difference of being reported and not being handled is increasing geometrically. So we have to address it. And in the end, I will only say that we all have to work together for cyber secure Pakistan. The isolated efforts are not going to give anything to anybody. And the worst effective will be the corporate sector, the banks, the organizations. Look at the example of Bangladesh. Look at these examples of few countries in Europe also. So we are lucky enough not to have this much of a bigger scale of attacks, but definitely as we are going further now, the criminals they are targeting not only women, they are targeting the corporate sector, the banking sector, and the new attacks are AI based. Now the traditional defense mechanism is dying very fast. We need to put in place the new system of defense, which is artificial intelligence based, which is studying deep machine learning is studying the pattern of attacks, and you know it's very dangerous. So the machine does not differentiate between a man, male and female. It just attacks. Thank you much.
True, true, true. And I hope that this ambiguity diminishes over time and we have a safe and secure digital Pakistan. My next question is to Sir Aun Abbas to elaborate and shed light on how, in what ways online platforms can serve as a tool for gender equality and specifically empowering women.
Thank you so much. I think the most important is to make the women aware of their right of privacy and educate them on how to deal with an unwanted situation. So for these kind of tools, the platforms, they should, when you get to register an account on an online platform, they give you in the start, they give you a user license agreement, which you just tick and you do not read. But we have to read, we have to know what are the do's and what are the don'ts. And again, after this, we have to, I suggest that there should be a regular message. Whenever you log on, you should receive a message that these are the rules and don'ts, do's and don'ts for the privacy of information and the cyber violence. With conduct workshops and seminars at various organizations. These organizations these organizations can be the corporate organizations, the universities, and maybe some government organizations. But as Mr. Ammar Jaffri said, the government organizations do not have enough of the bandwidth to deal with all such crimes. So at FIA, we also had an initiative on cyber scouts, in which we went to the schools and we trained 20 students from grade 6 till grade 10 at each school on how to deal with the situation of this kind of violence. So I suggest that women will contribute towards the development and will be empowered only when they feel safe and in the digital space. So online platforms are a good tool. They should we can utilize them for displaying messages on every logon activity, and then we can spread awareness to avoid victimization, and we can have awareness to on repercussions of such an offenses and the situation or the problem or the consequences that someone will face if he offends someone in the cyber domain. So for this, I suggest that fast-paced redressal of grievances. I mean, whenever somebody complains, as Mr. Ammar Jaffri said, there's a large number of complaints at FIA cybercrime received for cyber violence, but they have so much of the workload that, and the information they have to retrieve is from the foreign organizations. So that it takes actually longer than very long. So, and the victim gets either gets more victimized or loses the interest in following up the issue. And finally, the offender gets away scot-free. So this is something that we need to deal with awareness, and we can exploit the corporate social responsibility area of the corporate organizations in the countries or actually across the world. I've seen that I had been in conversation with law enforcement, with other countries also, in European countries and American countries. I've this cyber violence, the police deals it, but again, they don't have enough of the bandwidth to deal with or investigate such issues. In Pakistan also, they are dealing it. They are covered under the law. The issues are criminalized, but the bandwidth is not enough. So it is responsibility of every citizen. We, when we access such platforms, we have to educate our children, our women, and our students, especially students. I suggest that we should have this. We should make this awareness a mandatory part at the education level. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Over to you, Dr. Saddaf. If you'll please elaborate what ways can online platforms serve as a tool for gender equality and empowering women?
Thank you, Sir, On, for highlighting it in detail. I will only add a few more points on it, because cybersecurity can first of all promote the gender neutral products and avenues from which every human being can benefit. And on platforms which give the opportunity for people to share their ideas, experiences, and thoughts, um, equality can be professed and implemented through the ways in which these platforms are constructed and used. In our country, especially Pakistan, many digital products have been launched that try to give the equal opportunities for women to carry out on their daily life in a more empowered way. They include digital platforms who help in groceries and home chores. They also offer their children's home tuition. They can use different transportation applications that help provide a sense of security for travel women. But there are different tactics, reasons, and consequences based on the society to society. So we have to think about that how the digital empowerment to our women in Pakistan can be enforced if we have multiple consequences and reasons. One application of transportation might work well in Europe, but probably that will not be in that same reputation over here in Asia, or especially Pakistan. So we have to think about what are the consequences that may vary from society to society when we talk about the digital Pakistan or digital platforms that are empowering our women. So we don't have to think about only the tools, but we also have to think on how we can empower our women by providing these tools in a secure and digital Pakistan. Thank you, Ms. Mubeen. Okay.
I think the next.
Yeah.
Are you back?
Okay, I guess, Sir On, you can take charge over here.
Yes. Thank you.
I would like to respond on.
Sure, please.
You know, now we are talking about the use of online platforms for the helping the just some sort of violences. You know, we have to think about marginalized communities now. Only a day before I was in the north of Pakistan, so the internet penetration is not very good there. Normally, with our telephones, it's a call for the telecom companies now. So the internet penetration, I think we'll have to think about the communities which we never thought about. For example, person with disabilities. A lot of women, male, they are there at their homes and they can work perfectly, no issues at all. The only requirement is to train them. And these online platforms are providing them a capability to do what they traditionally could not have done. Third category I would like to talk about the people living on mountains. So by virtue of my experience being the founder of Digital Pakistan right now, I'm traveling so much in these areas, I'm worried about it. Why? Because after 6 to 8 months, we will have a internet everywhere in Pakistan, because thanks to the star satellite communication, they are offering so much of cheap bandwidth that everybody can afford it. Now, the next challenge will be what they will do. And finally, I would like to talk about CPAC, China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. Ladies and gentlemen, CPAC is offering us an opportunity which we never got in the last 70 years. I'm shouting at the top of the building right now on every nook and corner that we should grab this opportunity if we want economic prosperity. Because, you know, all these issues which are talking about gender-based violence, blah, blah, law enforcement will take into it. The only issue is we have to build the capacity of law enforcement also. For that, we need money. But this CPAC is not only a road. It's a, you know, it has already been planned on 6G and is work is on in China on 7G. So look at the potential. We just need to build the capacity of the population living on both sides of CPAC. You know, 95% job have already been done. Cable is coming from Khajrab via Rawalpindi to Gwadar, and from Gwadar, sea cables are going. It's not a road only. It's a window opportunity for all of us. So please think about it, that whatever mistakes we did in the past, I think we can engage 75 countries. Only a before I finished the 7. I think time has come for the people of Pakistan to stand up on the occasion and think about it, how we can get benefit of this new situation. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And I'd like Sir Aun Abbas to please elaborate further.
Much, Mubeen. I think now is the time when we have to deal with the situation. We have to make our people aware that ignoring such issues is not the right thing. Ignoring cyber violence, it only leads to more cyber violence. It actually encourages the offenders in worsening the situation, not strengthening the victims. It doesn't help out neither the society nor the victims. So it is important to understand your right of privacy, and women can save themselves only by knowing what should they know, what should they publish online, and what should they restrict from online publishing. What should they explain? What information should they display on the internet, and what information should they keep private? And there is one more thing: the children then generally they know. I would just share one thing. My son was playing a game on the internet, and somebody sent him a request on the game for connecting and playing. My son just said that my father is a cyber cop, and the person immediately blocked my son from accessing and vanished away. So this is the awareness. We have to make our children aware. We have to make our families aware. We have to make our people aware that we have the law, and we have to we can report the matters to someone. But reporting to the matter to someone, and we have to have an evidence. We have to have evidence of what we have sent and what the other person is sending us, to blackmail or to cause the cyber violence. So digital evidence preservation, and then reporting it to the investigation agency to identify the offender. You know that have not organizations and countries not having collaboration on in the cyber domain or cyber information exchange. It causes a lot of problem for again for the victims, and it helps the offenders. But at the same time, if we make our people aware of or on how should they avoid becoming victimized, and if they are victimized, how should they report and explain the matters to the right people, and then the offender can be taken to the task. So addressing the matters of such act at the priority is important, and for that we have to have bandwidth at the law enforcement. But at the same time, we have to have we should enable the women on, number one, having secure online activities, on making the secure environment and empowered women for the on the online systems. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Ms. Sana, if you would like to add something to it.
Yeah, so I do want to highlight that, despite all the repercussions that we've been talking about, technology has really opened the world for everyone, right? And including women. And if I start off with the basic, if we talk, wherever we talk about equality, then we need to build up the capacity to make that individual capable of doing things, right? And that starts off with basic education. So we have so many online education platforms these days. Anyone, women, men, anyone, whether they are in location, they're remote, they can easily access it. They can gain the basic information, as well as, I would say, even for professional certifications these days. I mean, you can keep continuing your paths to learning more about your field, about how you can help our community. And that makes you like sort of more contributor of the community in general. It makes you like sort of equally at par with the others. I think the other thing is like we mentioned earlier as well, about being financially independent. And then again, technology has enabled us to remotely work some women who cannot come 9 to 6 for jobs. If they can, that's perfect. If they can't, they can work from home. So they can find a work that fits their schedule. But at least they keep connected to the community and they become an independent member of the community themselves. And nowadays we also see, so for instance, a lot of startups being launched by women, because technology has made that cost of investment so low that they start at home and they target a wide range of audience online, and they're becoming a part of the ecosystem of startups in the country. So these are various ways, the technology helps bringing women to the forefront. We have platforms like networking platforms and also highlighting platforms. I think it's easy to say CyberX is one of them. So, focusing on women, bringing them forward, what they are doing, what they are not doing. Because the truth is that all of us are working in this and we're dealing with situations, right? But it's important to look at how people overcame challenges and have that as an inspiration to move ahead. So instead of waiting for the others to stop, that approach just won't do. So one thing I completely agree with Dr. what Aun just said. You have to be careful of what you're putting online. Nothing, no hacker, no evil person can distort anything about you if it's not found online, right? So if in today's world, if you are wary of that and you're wary of what you're putting online, what to share, what not to share, maybe even dodge it a little, just share the very basic information that you have to and do not answer the rest. It's not compulsory for you to answer the rest. So these are ways that you can use technology and still be actively a part of the world.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ms. Sana. And now, at last, I want all of the speakers to give me a quick response to what ways this in the post-COVID world, where everything has turned from like online classes from to other chores, there's a rising threat of gender-based cyber violence. What do you think is the quickest way to curb the upcoming menace faced by women specifically, and to like both the gender? It's not specifically to women, but if you elaborate any of one quick suggestion, what will be that? Starting from Ms. Rabiah, Dr. Rabiah, please.
All right. I think whatever it is, awareness is very important, right? Technology keep changing. But the most important thing, especially during this post-pandemic situations, it's like 360 degrees change. Everyone is connected to the internet without going to the workspace, without going to office. Everyone can get connecting to the internet, and it start from perhaps in Malaysia, year 2. Second, 2 years old boys, parents just want to keep the babies quiet and pass the phone. All right. So that is what I can see is quite common to the young families or young parents, to keep the baby quiet and pass the phone. So the kids is actually being exposed to the technology started from age 2 years old, okay, 2 or perhaps 1 year old, okay. So and then when the post-pandemic situation, class goes online, okay. And what happened to 2 days ago, I just found out that my little girl tried to get started to influence by this, what they call it, game influencer. So this is quite dangerous to me. It's not actually related to crime, but it's actually the girls especially, try to be excited, to be to get beauty and then influence others. But someone can take advantage on that, right? And even that is not good actually to take picture of yourself and then putting over the Facebook or whatever that to get followers, to put everything on the net. So I do agree with Mr. Abbas. At least know what to put in the what to publish and what not to publish. So the awareness should come from home, and as the initial action, I get I make a rules. I take back all the phones and all the devices. So that is the punishment to the girl. okay, and then explain to the girl what will happen, what is the impact, you know, from what is the impact. So can you imagine, I mean, for those who are educated, we can educate our children, but the technology actually has reached to someone, you know, can know how to use the technology, but against maybe lack of information in making sure that technology do not destroy their life. So this is actually, awareness is very important, and it's actually involved. It must actually you know, it must get contribution, not contribution actually. It needs industry, community, university, and also school to get together and then come up with a solution, and also government, government, public sectors, private sectors, industry, community. So it can be quadruple helix, you know, and university. So it's not just about to improve the technology, but also the social science, on the social science matters, also to come up with the rules and regulations, the awareness, and also you know, from the religious, and then it needs to, you know, start from home and go back to homes, you know, in terms of the implementations, and also the control mechanism, the best practice, and etc. So it's not just focused on the just, you know, to increase to develop economy, but also to develop the sasya, to develop the culture, and awareness, education, and so on. So I think again, before I pass to Mubeen, thank you very much to all my friends, Pakistans. And as for now, we don't have actually not much gender issue, but we do have this issue on misconduct over the cyber, especially amongst the teenagers and either boys or girls. You know, cyberbully is become quite a serious matter, but still under control because of, especially when, you know, the awareness over the awareness from the government. And also just to share with you guys, Cybersecurity Malaysia, they actually implemented Cyber 999. So when, you know, we have problems, so you can just call Cyber 999, make a report, and you know, to and then yeah, to control the case. Pass to you back, Mubeen. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Since we are running short of time, and I need to conclude all of the debate. So in a nutshell, cyber violence is real and is a grave concern for not only individuals, but also to different organizations and governments. Cyber violence exists in various forms, from cyber harassment to cyber bullying to personal attacks on phone text to cyber sexism and cyber stalking. The reason this is so dangerous that most people are unaware of, and some people find it difficult to believe in, that online violence carries a potential to cause physical violence offline, such as date rape and gang rape. To curb that, number of policies are made and bills are passed, but the effectiveness varies from case to case and country to country. However, it is imperative to enforce communication and content protocols in response to misusage of online sites. Moreover, these online platforms must be a tool to encourage women, empower them, and uplift them rather than degrading or demoralizing them. There is no doubt that men are also a favorable target to the cyber violence. So states, when formulating any policies, must not ignore the aspect as well. Lastly, the post-COVID-19 world is more vulnerable and more threatening in various ways. So it is the responsibility of every individual to be careful first, and others at the second, to curb the menace of caused by cyber violence. I really want to thank all of my panelists who have joined me from Pakistan and Malaysia. And it was a wonderful session, and I hope you all enjoyed and we have learned a lot from you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Mubeen.
Thank you, panelists, and thank you, moderator. Thank you very much.
Thank you.